Alrighty, YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. I'm currently on the road. I just left my house, finished watching the game up. But either way, obviously wanted to come on here and give my immediate reaction and thoughts to the 45-29 victory over the Arizona Cardinals today. Brock Purdy, another masterclass. The guy is absolutely the MVP now. It shouldn't really even be a debate anymore. Not even shouldn't really be a debate. There is no debate anymore. Dak Prescott absolutely shit down his pants today, like we all knew was going to eventually happen. Dak Prescott to be honest, if it's not Brock Purdy, it better be Christian McCaffrey. If it's anybody else other than them two guys, I'll be speechless. Brock Purdy outdueled Dak Prescott when they played Week 5 on Sunday Night Football. That's one thing. Brock Purdy now leads the league in literally every quarterback category now. Not every major quarterback category now. Every single quarterback category there is, Brock Purdy is first across the board. He is your 2023 MVP, and it shouldn't even be a debate anymore. People want to talk about how Dak Prescott's the MVP of his team, this and that. It's over. The MVP race is officially over. Brock Purdy is absolutely and should be the 2023 MVP. And again, if he's not the MVP, then it better be Christian McCaffrey. And if it's anybody else other than them two guys, again, I'll be speechless. I won't have any words. I won't know what to say. The NFL must be rigged, whatever. But yeah, another masterclass performance from Brock. 135.3, I believe, quarterback rating or passer rating. 4 total touchdowns from Brock Purdy, 2 to Christian McCaffrey, 2 to Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel continuing to go on a tear. The guy's been lighting teams up the past 3 weeks. It all started in Philadelphia when he backed up all of his chirping. And then obviously he did it again last week in Seattle. Like, Deebo is on a tear. Arguably been the best NFL player over the last 3 weeks. It's crazy because you could also say that Brock Purdy's been the best NFL player over the past 3 weeks. You could say that Christian McCaffrey, like, the 49ers are so loaded. And if this isn't their year, I genuinely do not know if any other year is going to be their year. Like, they have the most clear path ever to win the Super Bowl this year, and they have to get it done. But yeah, Deebo Samuel went on a tear, 2 touchdown performance. The Brock Purdy throw to Deebo Samuel, the back shoulder throw he had on Deebo's second touchdown was, again, another high-level throw from Brock Purdy. I've been coming on here the last 3 weeks talking about some of the high-level throws that Brock Purdy's been able to execute, and he continues to do it week in and week out. Check down merchant. Continue to hear chirping about Brock Purdy being a check down merchant. While he's still first in the league in deep ball passes, I don't get that either. But at this point, people are going to try to do and say everything to make a point for Brock Purdy not winning the MVP or not being the best quarterback in the NFL this year. Literally nothing is going to work for them anymore. Like, there's not a single thing you can say about Brock Purdy not being the league MVP this year that's actually true. Like, he is first in every category. You guys get the point. Like, this guy is the league MVP without a doubt. People can say what they want. If you don't think Brock Purdy is the NFL MVP, you either do not like the 49ers, you're delusional, or you just simply don't know football. There's no other case to be made for Brock Purdy not being the NFL MVP anymore. Christian McCaffrey, going into the game in the preview video, I talked about how Christian McCaffrey could have a monster game and that he should have a monster game again. That came to fruition. 70 yards through the air passing. Both of his touchdowns today, or two of his touchdowns today. He had 3 touchdowns. 2 of Brock Purdy's touchdowns today were through the air, receiving. Brock Purdy throwing him the ball. He was wide open on the second receiving touchdown he caught. He was really wide open on both of the receiving touchdowns that he caught. But it's so hard to guard everybody on the 49ers. Like, you can zone in and you can, try to limit McCaffrey or shut him down, but you still have to worry about Brandon Ayuk, Kittle, and Deebo. Like, this Niners team is the best team in the Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch era. And knowing what's happened with Dallas today, and knowing that the 49ers absolutely broke the Eagles. Like, they should be, without a doubt, in the Super Bowl. And I don't see a team in the AFC competing with the San Francisco team. By far, without a doubt, the most loaded Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch roster that there ever has been since they've been on San Francisco, or since they started their tenures in San Francisco. But, big mention, big shout out to Charvarius Ward. He went on Eric Armstead's podcast earlier in the week, or I believe it may have been last week, and talked about how, he obviously Charvarius Ward leads the league in pass deflections, but Charvarius Ward went on the podcast and talked about how he needs to start turning these interceptions or these deflections into interceptions, and that he could very well be the best defensive back in the NFL this year. And he absolutely did that today. That came to fruition without a doubt. 2 interceptions, one being a pick six, where he completely hawked the ball from Trey McBride on the pick six he had. It was a 66-yard pick six. Charvarius Ward, without a doubt, is having an all-pro season at this point. He struggled in the 3-game skid, especially in the Minnesota game. But he has only went up since then. He's been one of the better cornerbacks, defensive backs in football since that Minnesota game. So without a doubt, Charvarius Ward is having an all-pro season and should be rewarded with an all-pro season when it's all said and done. So Charvarius Ward, without a doubt, he's definitely going to be getting a game ball in the video I'll be doing tomorrow. The guy just showed up to play. Like I said, 2 interceptions. The first interception that he took to the crib was wild. It came at a perfect time too. Arizona moving the ball down the field. Kyler throws a late ball to Trey McBride, who was really killing the 49ers at the beginning of the game. But he throws, a ball too late to Trey McBride, and Charvarius Ward was pretty much praying over Trey McBride as soon as Kyler threw the ball, and the rest was history. So without a doubt, Charvarius Ward could easily be the player of the game today, along with probably Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. But obviously we'll get into the game balls and who gets the game balls tomorrow. But yeah, masterclass performance, man, on all sides. Nick Bosa, 2 sacks, maybe 2.5 sacks. I believe it was 2. It's so... There's so many players on the 49ers that show up week in and week out. And it's crazy to know that the 49ers are as loaded as they are. Knowing who we have on this football team, it's truly insane. And like I said, and I'll continue to say it, this is by far the most loaded roster I have seen from a 49ers team since at least the Harbaugh era. And I don't really even know, and I love the Harbaugh era. I love the teams that Harbaugh had with San Francisco, but it's really, really hard to put that team over and ahead of this current 49ers team. This team is so loaded, it's almost not even fair. And again, if they don't get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl this year, this absolutely has to be San Francisco's year to go out and win it all. Again, I don't know if there will ever be another year where the 49ers are favored this much to win a Super Bowl. There's no Joe Burrow in the AFC. The Chiefs are a struggling team, probably on the decline. Nobody matches up with San Francisco well in the NFC. I don't want to hear no more Eagles talk. The 49ers buried them and exposed them and broke them. Broke them so bad that Matt Patricia now is their defensive coordinator. And Dallas, Dak shits his bed, shits his pants when it matters most, especially against the 49ers. They have no chance against the 49ers. So you guys know, obviously, how I feel about that. But yeah, man, I thought great team win overall. Brock Purdy was slicing and dicing per usual. George Kittle got involved a little bit. I'm surprised Brandon Ayuk's kind of been, I'm not going to say off, but not as good as he's been, obviously, in probably the first 7, 8 games, maybe 9 games. Still had a good day. Honestly, Brandon Ayuk played great last week with 6 catches. I believe he put up 126 yards last week receiving, but it's been quiet, I guess, all in all for Brandon Ayuk in terms of getting in the end zone. But yeah, man, again, masterclass performance. I figured the 40, I believe my score prediction going into this game was like 36-17 or something like that. It was actually pretty close again. I've been pretty close. I haven't obviously hit score predictions on the head, but I've been pretty close when it comes to score predictions over the past couple weeks. I've noticed that, as these games have played out. But, yeah, man, like I said, I thought Jair Brown had a decent game. Trey McBride, one of the keys going into this game, I said, was keeping Kyler Murray in the pocket. He can't see the entire field unless he's able to scramble and get out of the pocket. And I thought the 49ers at first weren't really doing great at that. But they made adjustments, and it got to the point where Kyler Murray was just pretty much overstimulated. He started making poor decisions, and like I said, the rest was history. But yeah, I thought Kalia Davis I thought was okay. He actually ended up getting injured, which doesn't help because the 49ers are already thin at defensive tackle. I believe Diamador Lenore was injured during this game as well. I want to say his was a hamstring or a groin injury. I'm not exactly sure, but don't quote me on that. I just know he did suffer an injury during this game. So I'll be coming on here, obviously, tomorrow talking about injuries and the game ball video and things of that nature, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, great win. The Niners improved to 11-3 with Dallas losing to the Buffalo Bills. Not even losing. Buffalo completely buried them. But with them getting buried today, the 49ers are looking more and more likely to clinch that number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs, of course. Now, obviously, Philadelphia and San Francisco, well, San Francisco's 11-3, Philadelphia is at 10-3, but they're playing Seattle tomorrow. So I'm a big Seahawks fan tomorrow. Don't see Seattle winning, but you might as well root for them. But yeah, I mean, with the Niners at 11-3 now and Philadelphia at 10-3, those are really the only two teams now in the race to get the number 1 seed. Dallas never had a shot anyway. I knew, like everybody else knew, that they would eventually choke their hopes away. Dallas and Detroit, I think, are pretty similar when it comes to good teams. I think if Detroit sees Dallas in the playoffs, I like Detroit a lot over them. I don't think Dallas matches up with any of the top teams in the NFC too well. They did beat Philadelphia, but Philadelphia was exposed. Philadelphia is not as good as a lot of people think. They definitely had a better team last year. Niners had them in a blender so bad. Like I said, they're making changes on the defensive side of things, switching up their defensive coordinator and stuff. So, yeah, man, masterclass performance from Brock Purdy and company. And again, if Brock Purdy's not the MVP, it better be Christian McCaffrey. And if it's not either of them guys, again, I'll be shocked. Like, at this point, it's a lock. Brock Purdy's winning that MVP without a doubt. So, Dak choked his MVP hopes away today, as expected. There was always going to be a game in the back half of the season where Dak was going to struggle, and it so happens to come today against the Buffalo Bills. So I don't want to hear no more bullshit about Dak winning that MVP over Purdy. Purdy leads the league in every single quarterback category. He's first across the board. One of the things he didn't lead the NFL in today, or going into this game, was touchdown passes, but now he's obviously, ahead of Dak Prescott when it comes to that. So, the stats don't lie. Brock Purdy's your MVP. So Niners, of course, improved to 11-3. They officially also have clinched the NFC West, so the 49ers are your 2023 NFC West champions, which is obviously not surprising. I remember before the season I seen a tweet that said that it was projections for the NFC West for 2023, and San Francisco was last, Seattle was first. So that aged well. I don't know what dumbass put that out there on Twitter, but clearly that aged well. But yeah, man, great game from both sides of the ball. It was close there for a minute. It was a little too close there for a minute, but it's a divisional game. Divisional games are always going to be, competitive, at least at the start. But at the end of the day, like the Niners did against Seattle, they ended up pulling away with a couple big turnovers and big stops on defense and buried the Cardinals. So 49ers officially sweep the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams are up next. I believe we play the Rams the last game of the season, I think. I'd have to look at the schedule, but I know we got the Rams one more time. But yeah, man, either way, go Niners as always. Niners cruise to a victory today, 45-29. I'll be on here tomorrow talking about game balls, of course, and then going over some injuries. I know there was a couple injuries in this game as well. So as always, go Niners. Brock Purdy's going to win the MVP, and I'm here for it. The Niners have never had a better shot to win the Super Bowl than they do this year. So continue to take it one game at a time. We got Baltimore coming up, obviously, on Christmas Day, so that's going to be an awesome game as well. That's in San Francisco. That's primetime game. So I believe that's going to be 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm pumped for that game. But as always, go Niners. Happy holidays, everyone. Niners rout the Cardinals 45-21, improve to 11-3, win the NFC West, and Brock Purdy officially, without a doubt, should be the MVP. So let me know what you guys think of the game in the comment section down below. As always, go Niners. I'll see you guys tomorrow with Game Balls video and injury updates, and obviously more videos on throughout the week going into Baltimore. Or going into the Baltimore game. So go Niners as always. I'll see you guys in the next one.